next presenter and pitch company, we have Publica, and Publica will be presented by the CEO and founder, Josef Marc. So please welcome Josef.
First of all, hi to the Publica community out there watching live around the world. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the tweets. 6 centuries ago, Gutenberg's press decentralized books. 6 centuries ago, Gutenberg's press decentralized books and spread literacy around the world and laid the foundation for publishing itself. 4 centuries later, here in the United States, the public library concept was introduced in Philadelphia and copyright law began. And it worked pretty darn well for another couple hundred years. And the question is, what if we reinvent that for the blockchain? Or more importantly, what if we don't? So what happened about 20 years ago was digital books, and the license agreement was invented to circumvent copyright law and property law. And how do you know that? If you go to buy Shakespeare's Macbeth on iTunes, you click Buy Now, and then there's a book that is longer than Macbeth that you have to read before you accept those terms and conditions, that license agreement, which end up as you bought nothing. So all the rules of first use doctrine and exhaustion rules are circumvented by those license agreements. But when you look at a token, think first, is there actually a problem, and how do you know it? Well, 85% of the world's titles are not where you think they are, which kind of suggests that, well, maybe publishing is automatically resistant to centralization. And maybe that's because the world is a weird and wonderful place. Lots of languages, lots of cultures, lots of different commerce going on, but publishing is commerce. Don't forget about that. But we're going to help out there. Publica is a protocol for decentralized publishing, and the blockchain helped early with decentralized access to capital. So ask yourself, what are those people going to do with that capital after they earn some money? They're probably going to educate their children. So we're going to help out with the underbooked. But the upper right there, you see the walled gardens. That works for a lot of people, and no problem with that. But here's the problem that the Publica protocol solves, which is that's one business model. It's the business model of the tip of the iceberg there. But it does not follow copyright law or property law, and most of all, it doesn't suit the business models of most of publishing. For example, you go to high school, the school owns the books, they lend them to you. That's not allowed in a license agreement. You go to university, your parents want to buy you some books. That's not allowed either. So let's talk about a protocol. Protocol does not make a sexy illustration, so instead here's the people who will be affected and that can use the protocol. And protocol is not a sexy word either, but here's the takeaway. The read token, it does exactly what you think it does. It lets you read the book, that book, and it goes right in your wallet next to your money. So there's no doubt about whether that's property or not, because if it's in my wallet and you tell me it's not my property, we're going to have words about that. The next takeaway is the e-reader. So you go to the App Store, you download the e-reader, you enjoy the book. That's all great. You're allowed to read it because you bought the read token. You want to buy another book. Oh, guess what? There's a wallet in your e-reader app, which means all those people that don't necessarily know about blockchains, suddenly they're going to find themselves with a wallet. It's there just as a byproduct of the protocol. Also, down the road is if you do books, then you're going to have to deal with rights, because books lead to derivative rights like movies and games and merchandise and theme park attractions on Santa Monica Pier. And the protocol also takes that into account as well. So who are these people? It's a community. These are the executive team, if you will. Marc speaks about corporate social responsibility all the time. It's been around forever in the blockchain space. Anton Saprico is the workhorse. He provided most of the resources, the developers. The smart contracts are already up on GitHub in open source, and worked very closely with Yuri, the data scientist, who is, you might think of him as a freak of nature. I think of him as the bravest man I know, because he's delving into these really difficult problems and providing the science that we need to get this community going. And it is a community. I'm here because I have a history of working on projects in communication, mostly television, where you take something that was people already know, like sports broadcasting and multi-channel TV, but doing it in a new way with new technology that makes it work better. And when is this happening? Now, it's already underway. And in the transparency issues, our white paper explains what the protocol is. It's a protocol, and the protocol layer is important because when you think about the internet era, the people who made the protocols of TCP/IP and so on, not a lot of earnings there. The earnings went to the people who made the apps, Microsoft, Google, Uber, Amazon, Netflix, Apple. The blockchain inverts that, and most of the earnings go to the protocol layer. And because the apps are simple, we all know how to make an app. So I want to, that was my gift, because that's actually not about Publica. That's just about blockchains in general, because Publica is all about generosity. It's a community movement. Thank you again. Love the community, and we are Publica. Tell your story.
Thank you, Joseph. Thank you. Nice job.